Welcome to the Soul Mirror. I'm your host Shreya, where we deep dive into the essence of being. Today we are joined by Jamie Green, a trauma release specialist, NLP Life Coach, and Reiki Master, whose work bridges the heart and mind. Together we'll explore the virtues and who am I, a journey into understanding our true selves beyond fear, stories, and conditioning. So, welcome, Jamie. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Yes, thank you so much, Shira. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. And Jamie, when you talk about virtues, what do they really represent in our modern, fast-paced lives?
Yes, that's a great question. So, in reference to the virtues, there are five, and it's our innate being of who we truly are. And when we are born into this world, we embody these true virtues. But as we get older and we have more responsibilities, more cultural expectations, it's difficult to realize that as things start to pile on, right? And so when we begin to connect with our inner world, then we start to unfold the layers and clear the dust and the cobwebs to reveal that within us, our being is energy and it's love and it's peace and joy and kindness and purity.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And I think awareness as presence and not as pressure transforms how we experience the life.
Yeah,
And can a person cultivate virtues without falling into the trap of perfectionism?
that's a great question. And yes, it is because a part of showing love and kindness is compassion right there in the middle. And so with perfectionism, we often self criticize ourselves unless we're meeting the goal or we're achieving an acolyte. And when we show ourselves compassion, we can extend grace.
Yes. And I think uh, that's like you said it so beautifully, and it almost like virtues are not goals but frequencies that we are aligned with, that you have just said so beautifully. And also, how do you guide someone to answer the question, who am I, when their identity is built on past trauma or social roles?
Yes. If I were providing a suggestion to someone seeking out purpose, I would consider an offer that they consider meditation and simply meditating on a mantra or a word that's special to them and allowing the subconscious mind to unfold as they search for their purpose and the virtues. And it begins to unfold when you practice meditation.
Yes, I think true success comes from alignment. And
Mhm.
thus, unlearning who we think we are hard before it heals?
Yes, it could be very challenging as there are a lot of toxic beliefs that get into the way of us realizing our virtues within us, such as I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. And so, for unveiling and reframing those toxic beliefs, I would suggest to consider journaling. That is a beautiful and powerful process to evaluate the inner world, the inner thoughts that are creating your reality. And if you want to move into a space where you're receiving more love and more peace and more joy, you have to first begin to identify, well, what are your thoughts and beliefs around those virtues?
Yes. I think that's such a profound perspective, that healing as an awakening and not as fixing.
Mhm. Yes.
And you work deeply with energy and subconscious mind. How do these two realms intertwine when it comes to self discovery?
Yes, that's such a great question. And as we get older, we carry a lot of stories that our parents told us, stories that our teachers told us, or stories that we've made up based off of experiences that we've had. And so the processes that I guide clients through is called timeline therapy. And this process utilizes a unique technique that engages the subconscious mind. And to understand how powerful the subconscious mind in creating our beliefs and thoughts and actions, it's the governing power of those things. And it's, if you could imagine, as a video camera recording from your birth all the way up to your current age. And it's recording all of these experiences, all of these stories. And that's what it's utilizing to dictate your behavior, your thoughts, and your feelings. And so when you utilize timeline therapy to go to the root cause of something such as I don't deserve love, you can reframe and restructure that experience that happened in the past, or the story that was told to you, or the story that you embodied because of an experience that happened.
Yes, I think confidence isn't something that we learn, it's something we remember for ourselves.
Mhm.
And can understanding energy really shift the way we see ourselves or maybe see others?
Yeah, our energy is definitely dictated by our thoughts and vice versa. So where we put our focus and our energy is where the energy and things will continue to grow and flow in that direction.
Fascinating. That is really, really so fascinating.
Mhm.
And also, in your experience, what is the biggest misconception people have about finding their true self?
Well, it's a really good question. Let me ponder on that one. The biggest misconception I would say is that a lot of people hold to a belief that their purpose, that their passion lies in the expectations of their parents or their grandparents or their family members. And a lot of people go into different careers expecting to find purpose and joy, but unfortunately, they find the opposite because they were honoring their family's desires and expectations for them, but they didn't honor their purpose and their passion. And so that's why you also see a lot of changes in careers as you hit, let's say, your 30s, your 40s, or 50s now.
Yes. And I also think that energy awareness deepens connection, and also I think it teaches us to listen beyond the words, maybe.
Yes, it does.
And do you think society benefits from people staying disconnected from that truth?
Oh, another great question. Mm. I'm going to have to come back to that one.
Okay, okay. And also, if virtues are the mirrors of the soul, which one do you believe the world needs most right now, and why?
I love that one. I would definitely say that love is one of the core and foundational virtues. And when you cultivate self love, that radiates from within you to others. And so you naturally begin to feel more gratitude, more joy, more peace and kindness naturally.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And how can each of us begin to embody that in small daily ways?
Yeah, I highly suggest a metta meditation.
Mm.
That is a meditation when you practice 5 different mantras and you say the mantras to yourself.
Mm.
Then you send the loving and healing energy to others. And then you send the loving energy out into the world.
Yes, I love that because I think it it will bring spirituality back into the action and not just as the reflection.
Yes.
Uh, and also many people chase external validation without realizing it. How do you guide someone to shift from seeking approval to embedding authenticity?
Yes, that would definitely begin with a inner exploration to determine where does that drive come from. And a lot of times you find that it comes from during the child rearing time where the parents valued or showed additional affection to the child when they came home with awards instead of unconditional love. And so identifying the root belief behind it and then reframing it so that they would have internal validation and self assurance.
Yes. And also, was there a moment in your own life when you caught yourself doing that?
Oh, yes, of course. I don't know many people who wouldn't relate to the idea of wanting to honor and make their parents proud. And so I often had many sleepless nights in college, staying up, doing numerous papers to make sure that I got an A. Sometimes it was at the detriment of my own well being with the lack of sleep and anxiety, and eventually leading to bruxism, which is clenching the jaw and having constant tension. And I utilize journaling to help understand and reveal where the pressure that I was feeling was coming from.
Yes. I think that's such a relatable truth. And I think the moment, I especially think the moment we stop performing, we actually start living our lives. And that is so important for every one of us.
Yes. Yes. And living life fully.
Yes. And also, like we were talking about it, and you said that like virtues as lived experience rather than ideals.
Mhm.
How does one begin to live a virtue instead of just believing in it?
Something that a lot of people are familiar with are called affirmations.
Mm.
And so, a easy and simple technique to begin fostering self-love, peace, and joy, especially if you're in the mindset that you may feel as though that you don't deserve it or that you're not enough, to utilize affirmations that connect with your heart and not just saying them, but actually embodying that mantra. What exactly does the affirmation mean and feel to you when you say, I deserve love, I am worthy of peace? Allowing yourself to visualize what your life would feel like, to hear the things that you would hear, to feel the things that you would feel. And that simple addition of incorporating the different senses of what you hear and feel, it connects to the subconscious mind again, which is in charge of 95% of our beliefs, thoughts, and habits. And so when you connect with the subconscious and you tell it, I am deserving of love and peace, and you tell it in a language that it understands, utilizing the 5 senses, And then it starts to say, okay, this is what we're going to program now. We're going to uproot the toxic belief and we're going to begin to reframe those negative and toxic beliefs and thoughts to positive and empowering ones.
Yes, I think you have just beautifully said it. And also, thank you for sharing this affirmation practice with our audience.
Yes.
And do you think consistency matters more than intensity on this path?
Yes, consistency matters. The more you do it, the more you reinforce what you want. As I had mentioned before, the more you put your focus into something, the more you send energy in that direction. So the more energy and focus, the more it will grow.
Yes, that's so inspiring. And also, many people feel disconnected from their inner voice. How can they rebuild that trust in their intuition again?
Depending on whether or not they are struggling to vocalize their voice because of an experience or they're shying away from speaking up. And in any case, I would first have them consider finding a support friend or colleague, someone that they trust, to provide them with a environment that's safe and supportive to begin to communicate what's on their heart. And in practicing, in doing so, you'll begin to have more confidence and you'll feel safe. And then you'll be able to speak your voice in other circumstances as well.
Yes, that's really beautifully said. And also, I have another question with that. Like, is intuition something to be strengthened or simply uncovered?
It's something to be uncovered as we all have intuition. Science has proven that for many years now. And the more you focus on developing that intuition and the self knowing, the more that things will become more easily revealed to you.
Yes. And I think maybe intuition isn't a skill that we learn. I think sometimes it could be a silence that we return to.
Yes, yes. A lot of parents, they tend to, unfortunately and unknowingly, they silence the child's voice and it lowers their ability to be intuitive as well.
Yeah. And like also, how can someone tell when they are out of energetic alignment? How can they understand that?
They'll start to notice more negative self talk and also different energy shifts in regards to being more negative in regards to perspectives and their capabilities.
Yes, I think that's just beautifully said. And thank you for sharing this with us. And also, Jamie, thank you for sharing such deep wisdom on truth, on virtue, and self awareness. I think your insights remind us that healing and authenticity are lifelong practices, not destinations. And it's been a gift having you with us today. And if after this my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
Yes, they can reach out to me via my website at sunshinesoulvibes.com or Instagram on Sunshine Soul Vibes.
Yes, and I'll definitely make sure to attach all these details and in the description in below. And with that, to my listeners, what an enlightening exchange with Jamie Green, reminding us that who we are is not something to find, but something to remember. If today's talk resonated with you, take a moment to pause, breathe, and also ask yourself, who am I when I'm not trying to be anyone else? Until next time, keep reflecting, keep evolving, and keep your soul inside. Thank you.